Hey, it's Pierre from Squash Source. In this video I have a comparison to make between the Wilson Ultra Countervail racket and the Tecnifibre Carboflex X-Speed 125. When I reviewed this racket not too long ago, I really liked it, and I got a comment from Rob saying, do you like it better than the Carboflex? So I took both rackets out at the same time to see if I stacked them up head to head, whether I would still like this one as much as I did. After hitting with them, I thought, yeah, I do like this Wilson a little bit better. It just suits me a little better, and that it feels a little head heavier and just a little more sturdy than the Carboflex, which is a little more of a quick moving racket, technical term. And I just feel that a little bit of stability is probably good for my game. It's better if I am more consistent and stable than trying to do too much clever shot making. So I went back to get ready for this video, and I looked at the stats for these rackets, and I was assuming this one ended up being head heavier and heavier, but actually the one that I thought was heavier and head heavier is actually lighter and head lighter. And I was trying to figure out why it felt different when I played to what it looks like on the scale. And my best answer to that is two things. Actually, it's one thing, but it's two aspects of it. It's the grip. And I noticed that the Wilson has a smaller grip, and I measured it as, this has an overgrip on it, so don't take this too seriously, but around the overgrip, this is about 10¼ centimeters. And the Carboflex is about 10¾ I think I'm reading that correctly. So it's about ½ centimeter bigger. And it's not much, but it feels different in my hand. And the other difference is the top of the grip. The Carboflex is very tapered. It tapers very slowly into the shaft, whereas the Wilson tapers more quickly. It's rounded off a lot faster at the top of the handle. And the bottom line is, when I hold the racket, I put my finger kind of on the Wilson. I put it at the place where the grip starts to taper off, and I realized, holding it further down to the butt of the racket. And also, because it's smaller, I end up holding it flatter than I do the Carboflex, which I tend to grip up on this one more because I don't feel that drop off. And I also, because the grip is thicker, I find it harder to lie flat. I'm more of a cocked wrist. And that difference, that very small difference, makes the racket feel differently, even though the stats are pretty much the same. If anything, it makes it feel different, opposite to what the stats would tell me. So the point of this video is that these very small variations are hard to detect, even if I'm actually trying to look at these and compare them. It took me a while to figure out what the difference was. And there's no substitute for really trying a racket out, and also, quite frankly, getting used to it. And the funny thing about that whole story is, I was deciding what racket to use this season, and I decided to use this Carboflex. And even though I just got done saying that I like this one a little bit better. And the reason is that this is a very nice racket, and I have two of them, so it's just more convenient for me to use this one for this season. And I figure that I'll just get used to it. And so the bottom line too of all this is, don't worry too much about these fine differences. Mostly it's important to just pick something you like and just get out there and play. So that's this week's video, the comparison between the Wilson Ultra Countervail and the Tecnifibre Carboflex 125 X-Speed